Welcome to the Green Chair interviews. Today we have Robin Bright joining us from the Faculty of Education. Welcome, Robin.
Hi.
Today we would like to ask you, what is your philosophy of teaching?
Well, one of the tenets that I have teaching in a faculty of education is modeling. I want to model to my students really best practices. So I'm really concerned that I show them, how to teach well and how to engage students well. So modeling would be one of them. Focus on the environment, making it really positive and welcoming so that they will take risks and then stretch themselves as learners. And I want to have really high expectations for my students. So I want them to know that I expect them to do well, and that if they have questions that they can come to me. They can always redo assignments as well. So they have high expectations, but they also know that they have support in meeting them. And then I think the fourth thing is just having a really caring attitude. I want them to know that I'm there for them, both in practicum as well as on campus, and that if something comes up, they know that they can come and see me. Not all learning happens in the classroom, so I want them to know that I care for them as people inside the classroom, but also outside of it.
Right, yeah, that's very important. So in modeling for your students and focusing on the environment, can you just maybe let us know what a typical class of yours looks like?
Well, typically I actually arrive about 30 minutes early to a classroom, and I set it up the way I want it to. So if they need particular materials, I will organize those materials. I'll set them up in groups, and the size of the group matters. And then I'm really careful about organizing the classroom in chunks of time, knowing that if I have 3 hours, you never want to have your students sitting for 3 hours. So I'll think of, a 10-minute activity to get us started, maybe a 20-minute mini lecture, an activity that'll take us to break. After break, there might be writing time, so quiet reflection, what have you learned so far? And then followed up by an activity as well. And I pretty much always leave the students with an exit slip. So I ask them a question about something that happened in the class or a reading that they've done, so that I take away feedback after each class about, how they're feeling and a little bit about their learning.
Okay, that sounds great. So I know you've touched on this already, but can you maybe just pinpoint maybe one thing that's worked really well for you in your class?
Sure. I think mini lectures is something that I really coined that term, and I use it on a fairly regular basis with them. But I know that sometimes you do have to impart information. So I will try to do that in maybe 10 or 15-minute chunks, then get them to work with that content for a little while, and then maybe do another 10-minute chunk. So I would say mini lectures tend to be something that's pretty good, that works well for me, but only because it's always followed up by an activity that gets them talking to each other, maybe up and moving.
Okay.
But they have to make use of the knowledge in some way.
Okay, great. And so the last question we're going to ask you is, how do you best prepare for your classes?
Well, you actually never stop preparing for a class.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, if I'm preparing for a class, I'm trying to think in terms of a number of topics, subtopics that relate to the overall topic. And then for the individual classes, I try to make sure that I present knowledge that just continually builds on itself. The planning, I think, is something that I think about all the time. It's something that I really am, passionate about, the topic.
Sure.
So I want it to, I always want every class to sort of be the most important class I've just taught.
Right. Well, that's wonderful. It sounds like that really shines through in your teaching. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Robin. It was great having you here.
Thank you.